Welcome to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Menti. We are very proud to be joined today by State Senator Ray Lesniak, who is a Democrat from Union County and is in leadership in the State Senate in New Jersey. With you are chair of the Economic Growth Committee, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a second. I want to start with politics, if that's okay, sir, and thank you for joining us.
Starting with politics with a politician? My God.
It's a novel idea. I figured since everybody else is talking about politics, I would. There is an opportunity for the Democrats coming up in the next gubernatorial election. Your name has been bandied about. There's a draft Ray Lesniak movement out there.
Run, Ray, run.
Are you considering it?
Oh, for sure. I believe the state needs bold leadership. I believe I can provide it. And enough people get behind me and believe in what I stand for and what I've been working for during my political life, I certainly would run.
So you're beyond considering it. You have made up the decision. You are going to make an announcement?
I'll make a final announcement sometime after the presidential election.
Right, I didn't want one here. I just meant that you're leaning
you
towards that.
News.
Yeah, I would love it, but I wasn't expecting it.
Nobody's going to be paying much attention to the New Jersey campaign until after the presidential election for sure. But I'm certainly planning on running as long as I can get the support based on what I stand for and what I believe the direction the state should be going in. Because it certainly needs to change the direction. It needs leadership. It needs bold action. We can't run away from problems. We have to hit them straight on, and we have to be strong and resolve in solving those problems rather than trying to cut around the edges. We are on the wrong track economically. We're on the wrong track in terms of our spending programs, education, corrections. There are a lot of bold things that need to be done to put our state where it belongs. We're a great state. We're a wealthy state, but our unemployment is way too high compared to our region. We spend money recklessly at times in terms of many of our programs, and we don't have the right programs for a lot of folks who actually need them. So we need a whole new change of direction.
It's fascinating you say that, because a lot of people are saying that New Jersey isn't going in the wrong direction, and there's a lot of people that are saying exactly what you said, that we have to cut spending. However,
we have to make our spending efficient. Well, we're wasting spending. Okay. So
is that cutting it?
That certainly is cutting it, but in a way that doesn't impact upon the programs. For instance, there's a lot of money in education that goes into administration that goes out the window. Well, it doesn't get into the classroom. There's money in corrections that doesn't help improve the life of a prisoner, so when they get out, they don't commit additional crimes. So there's money in local government, again, that's not spent for the services directly. So cutting spending is really more about making the current spending more efficient so that we require less spending.
Gotcha. So as you require less spending, as you spend less, do you give the taxpayers a break at that point?
Well, the taxpayers need a break. And one of the problems is, for instance, we're letting corporations, multi-state and multinational and international corporations get away with sending some of their tax revenues to other states. I have legislation pending that will be passed next year so that we can recapture those revenues. I'm a big proponent of sports betting. Sports betting is going on. What a shock. There's sports betting going on in the state, but we're not getting any of the revenues. I actually have a case before the Third Circuit. I've been fighting the NFL to bring sports betting to New Jersey. It'll be a big boon for Atlantic City, which is failing, our racetracks, which is ailing, and they'll bring a lot of revenues into the state. So we have to be bold in terms of taking advantage of what we have here in New Jersey and not give it all, for instance, in terms of sports betting, to offshore internet sites, organized crime in Las Vegas.
You just named 3 ways that the state could make some more money. By spending more efficiently, you could get some more money into the budget. By making certain that the money doesn't go offshore without being taxed, and by bringing sports betting to New Jersey. If any of the 3 of those things were to happen, if for somehow you were able to get more money into the budget, would then taxes be reduced? Could you reduce some of the onerous taxes on the state of New Jersey?
We certainly can reduce the tax burden. In terms of, for instance, a proposed millionaire's tax, which I support, all right, coupled with a elimination of the estate tax. High wealth individuals have to leave the state of New Jersey because of our estate tax, but they're willing to pay more money on their income taxes rather than have to pay, whether lose their estate for their heirs and other charitable givings that they want to do. So we can raise more money by taxing high wealth individuals, and at the same time, down the road, give them a break that's more important to them than the income taxes. So there are a lot of ways that we can raise revenues that ultimately will go to the benefit of the state. I can't tell you that we're going to particularly cut any specific taxes because we have so many problems that have built up over the years. What we can do is make sure that our spending is efficient, that we have a control of education and make sure that money isn't wasted, so that the tax burden is ultimately going to, if not level off, actually decrease over time.
A couple of taxes that raise the ire of New Jerseyans more than any else are property taxes, one. Yeah, the Asbury Park Press recently asked legislators to sign a pledge that they would at least freeze property taxes. You haven't signed it.
No, I have not, because we can't. We can't afford to put that stranglehold on every single municipality, because property taxes vary from in different municipalities, in areas of municipalities. What we need to do is, rather than have some pledge that can't be kept, anyone who signed that pledge will not be able to keep it, and they won't be able to show how it can be kept. What you have to do is tackle the problem from all angles.
So the 26 legislators that have signed it so far, as of this taping, have been disingenuous?
They certainly don't know how to do what they pledged to do.
The other tax that I was talking about is the gas tax.
Which I support and which is not popular.
I know it's not popular, but it's amazing to me how many people do support it. Republicans support it. People that are for tax reform also say we need a little bit of a gas tax, only because the transportation fund is in such dire straits. Is that where the money would go?
It has to. I would constitutionally dedicate it to, so it would only go for infrastructure and road repairs. And there are some studies that show that the average cost of damage to your vehicle is higher than any gas tax that you will pay. And plus, at some point in time, there's going to be a bridge that's going to collapse. We can't wait for that to happen before we start funding our infrastructure needs.
Yeah, as I said, there's so many people that sat in that chair that I was surprised said the same thing. So I think there's more agreement than at least I thought there would be. We'll continue our conversation with State Senator Ray Lesniak in a moment. We're going to talk about crime in the state of New Jersey and also Governor Christie when we come right back.